I run the Bristol Ghost Tours, been running them for the last 11 years. The tour is called Haunted and Hidden Bristol. We start at Bristol Cathedral on College Green. Start there because the building is 900 years old, and the oldest part of the building is the east end towards the city centre side. 3 years ago, the verger who still works in the building was closing the building up for the evening. As he went back inside, he saw a figure walking down towards the east end, the far end of the building, by the cafeteria. As he followed the figure down towards the end of the building, it disappeared through one of the bricked up doorways there. We then head down towards the Hippodrome and the legendary Hatchet pub. We go to Hatchet because it's one of the oldest pubs in Bristol, dates back to 1606 as a pub, but the building has been there 500 years. The original door used to have human skin on it. And then we cut down Denmark Street to a nondescript building which is called Gaunt's House. Gaunt's House years ago was an office building, but in the Middle Ages it was a very old hospital there run by a group of monks, and Gaunt's Hospital helped a lot of people that suffered from the plague in Bristol in the Middle Ages. Sadly, a lot of people are buried underneath the building. In the 1980s, some guys were working there at night, changing the office around, the partitions of the building. As they were working one night on the third floor, all their toolboxes were thrown around the floor, and even the heavy drilling equipment they had was thrown around. They had a poltergeist up on the third floor. And then to a legendary pub by the Bristol bus station, the White Hart. When the pub was just been open, two brothers had a big quarrel in the pub. As a result of the quarrel, one of the brothers died in the building because they had a big fight in the pub. I've met 4 different owners that have had the pub in the last 20 years. Each one says the same thing, that they take the pub over thinking the ghost stories there are just rubbish, but then weird stuff happens. Even now, the food lift, which goes from the first floor in the kitchen to the bar area, will go up and down all night long when the owner's trying to sleep. And a few years ago, the chef arrived upstairs on the first floor. As she arrived to start work, all the knives and utensils she'd hung on the wall all stuck in the dining room table, so she had to pull the knives at the table before she could start work.
My name's Dan, and I believe in ghosts. A little while ago, I had an experience where I believe I saw a ghost. Out one evening with a few mates, walking through the town centre. It was quite late, so it was kind of empty at this point. So we were just walking along the street, and we looked behind us, and we noticed this figure, this shape. We couldn't really, because it was so far away, we couldn't really tell whether it was a man or a woman. But it looked like it was wearing like some kind of long gown or something like that. And it was moving towards us very slowly. It was about, I'd say, about 100 yards away from us. But we couldn't see its feet like walking or anything. So we were like, okay, this is weird. So we all started to get like a little bit freaked out by this. So we started running. And then we crossed over the road. We were on the cross of the road, and then turned up some steps. And we looked behind us just as we got halfway up the steps. This figure, which looked like it had been moving like really slowly, was like right there, right behind us. We were like, how the hell did that get there? We were like, we were like proper freaking out. Horrible.
We go around to the Odeon cinema. The Odeon, although it's not that old as a building, it dates back to the early 1900s. In 1946, the manager working there was shot dead in his office. The police in Bristol kept the case open into the early 1980s and then closed it, unsolved murder. After they changed the building around the 1980s, they refurbished it to a new 3-screen cinema. In screen 3, they were showing the Michael Caine movie Mona Lisa. The film ends, cleaning staff started going through the cinema and cleaning up 3 rows from the end, from the front of the seats, and they actually said to a guy, "We're about to close shortly, do you mind leaving?" As they leant down towards the man, they disappeared. Because they leant down and said to the man, "Can you now leave?" The guy disappeared through the wall. Screen 3 is built next to the manager's office. The problems have got so bad in there over the years, they've actually had an exorcism. They've actually had a priest go in there twice to get rid of the problem. And then go down towards Welsh Back and the Landogger Trout, which is legendary pub. The Landogger, most people know the Landogger Trout. And again, it dates back to 1660, like a lot of the old buildings in Bristol. Top floor, a young boy lived there for many years, and the lad had a metal plate on his foot because one leg was shorter than the other one. The boy died, the family sold the pub. Years later, the chef took the room upstairs. When the chef was asleep at night, he actually used to wake up and hear the scraping on the wooden floor and the boy crying. But every time he would go into the room, there would be nobody there. We walk the Bristol Old Vic, which is the oldest working theatre in Great Britain. It opened in 1744. A young boy that worked there for many years, a little lad, because he was so small, used to climb up and paint the top of all the scenery. One occasion he was painting the scenery, slipped at the very top, landed on the scenery below him and impaled him a horrible death. Took 2 people to pour the lad's body off the scenery. And even last year when they had pots of paint flying around, doors slamming, poltergeist activity, but the guys that work there are so used to it they treat it as part and parcel work in the area of the building. That is where